Welcome back. I figure we'll go ahead and watch this anyway because now I look freaking awesome.
You appear ready for the oath.
Yeah, goddamn right.
Enough to make your head spin, eh?
Swing, swing. Power Rangers, unite! That was pretty well timed. So now this might be a little bit boring. Hopefully I can think of a topic to talk about. I'm really not good at this on the fly shit. Okay, here's one.
I think we should trust the
let me get ready. Oh god, is this talkie?
You appear ready for the oath.
Yeah, I am. Keep walking.
Now what?
Beyond this gate is the first step in becoming a nightingale.
Whoa there, lass. I appreciate the armor, but becoming a nightingale, that was never
So
discussed.
trepidatious.
To hold any hope of defeating Mercer, we
Must have Nocturnal at our backs. So I'm going to go ahead and talk over this, and it's going to be tricky because I'm not very good at this, and I'm like constantly reading at the bottom of the screen. But essentially, my friend told me about this post the other day that some guy made, and he was like, you know, I played video games for 15 years, and I'm just mad at how they turn out now. They all seem to be crap. They're all boring, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, everything after 2011, I don't know why you picked 2011, but everything after 2011's been garbage. There haven't been any good games in the last 5 years. And I cannot disagree with that more. I would agree that there certainly are aspects of game design that have become, you know, pretty mainstream. And it's pretty fair to say that, you know, games have gotten more homogenous for sure. But it's not the case with all the games, though. Like, you have, whenever you have any sort of art medium or art form hitting the mainstream, like gaming has done, and like, you know, like pop music and stuff like that, there's always going to be a formula. Because at the end of the day, if you're doing a business, you know, you're making these games for business. You're not making these games because you want to. So let's get this show on the road. There's always going to be that element to it, you know what I mean? So when you have stuff like that, and you have this sort of business element, you need to figure out what appeals to people. And generally what appeals to people doesn't change quickly, so it changes over time, slowly. And from that, you can make a formula, a sort of formulaic approach to how to build a game. I mean, look at Assassin's Creed. Those guys pumped out like 15 games in 2 years or some stupid shit like that, and they flooded the market and ruined their own franchise because they had a formula that worked and they applied it too much. And we'll take a break from this because now we get to talk to Nocturnal.
Queen of Murk, an Empress of Shadow. Hear my
nice
voice.
Stance.
Ah, Carlisle.
Holy shit.
I was wondering when I'd hear from you again. Lose something, did we?
My lady, I've come before you to throw myself upon your mercy and to accept
Oh, I can't move. I was totally going to go run onto her platform and look at her.
You're already mine, Carlisle. Your terms were struck long ago. What could you possibly offer me now?
I have two others that wish to transact the oath, to serve you both in life and in death.
You surprise me, Carlisle. This offer is definitely weighted in my favor.
Oh, damn. I haven't said a word for like the last minute.
Revenge. How interesting.
So we're basically...
Very well. The conditions are acceptable. You may proceed.
Basically bargaining with Nocturnal to give ourselves superpowers.
We accept your terms. We dedicate ourselves to you.
As both your Avengers and your Sentinels. Yay!
We will honor our agreement in this life and the next until your conditions.
Very well. I name your initiates Nightingale, and I restore your status to the same, Carlisle.
Dang, dude.
And in the future, I'd suggest you refrain from disappointing me again.
Oh, Nocturnal doesn't take shit. You. So, back to the topic at hand.
You've transacted the oath. Mercer was able to unlock the guild's vault without 2 keys because of what he stole from the Twilight Sepulchre.
The skeleton key. So, you know, Ubisoft, they had their formula with Assassin's Creed and they ruined it by overusing it, right? And that happens with anything. Music, it's easier to, and you know, they tried to dress it up. They put it in different locations. They've gave it
Mercer
different
was-
characters,
By doing this,
you know,
he's co-
all that stuff, right?
all of it. Once you
And
realize that
they sort of did like a
these
find
traits,
and replace
potential becomes good.
on character and setting and dialogue and stuff like that. But the
As time
the
passed, our luck with
bones
demons
of the game were all the same
existence.
through all of them, right?
Very true.
So
Before we depart,
it's kind of like that with music too. If you look at pop music, like the chords are the same, the structures are the same, but you know you'll have a different artist, and
Listen, lass.
you know
There's one last piece of
you'll have a
work
different
we need
artist,
to
and you'll have
settle
different
before we
sound,
go
you'll have
after
different
Mercer.
instruments, and blah blah blah, all that stuff,
Leadership
different
of
key
the guild.
maybe.
Carlisle,
But that's the nature
thanks
of
for your efforts.
almost industrializing an art
treachery
form
has been
and trying to
exposed.
make money off of it. Is
After-
you
as a
discover
result,
patterns that work,
both-
and
I've
you
been
make
at this
formulas to
game a long
generate those
time,
patterns, and then you
a
go
long
about it.
time.
So there
I've stolen
definitely,
trinkets
I
from
would
nobles.
absolutely agree
I'm
that
good
there
at what
is
I-
an
I've
element of
never
that in
been
game
one to
design
lead.
today.
Never desired it. Never,
But
when I have a bit of an errand, then it's
I don't see
until
that as
then,
necessarily a bad thing.
I've been poring over Carlisle
because
and I will
there's-
meet you there. Prepare yourself,
I mean,
lass.
it's not like
This will
it's
be
not
a
amazing. I don't like the industrialization of any art form, but on some level, I do recognize its necessity because that's where the money's at. And you know, as much as people will be like, "Oh, sell out, blah blah, sell out," those people are generally misinformed. Like, they want something to continue, but they don't want to actually put any money towards it. You know, so like these people need to eat and live. Like bands, game designers, they all need to eat and you know pay bills and put food on the table for them and whoever else they have to support. So they need money, and you know if they believe in something and they're endorsing it, that's not selling out in my opinion. But anyway, that's a little off topic. So I think what happens is, you know, you get these homogenous games like Call of Duty, which hasn't really changed up its formula or its plot points in about 5 games or 10 games now. So you get stuff like that. You get the Assassin's Creeds of the world where it's just pretty samey. And, you know, you play the first game and you're like, wow, this is cool. You play the second game, you're like, this is still cool. And then it starts to wear thin. But, you know, that's why people stop playing those games. That's why Assassin's Creed, you know, isn't being released with such high frequency anymore, because Ubisoft was like, oh, we blew it. So then they went and did Watch Dogs 2, which was, you know, interesting choice. But I would argue that there have been plenty of good games. I would say that, but they're for different merits, right? There's so many different ways to judge a game. I think it's foolish to say something like, oh, there haven't been any good games, because what do you mean by good? You know, like Skyrim, for example, that came out in 2011. Great game. You know, extension of Oblivion. It's fun for adventuring. It's a dungeon crawling masterpiece, in my opinion. The music's great. The atmosphere is great. The animations are so bad that it's endearing, like, you know, and it's all opinionated. So I would argue that, you know, Skyrim's a great game. BioShock Infinite, fantastic AAA game that came out in 2013. I want to say the end of 2013 or beginning of 2014, something like that. Did I kill him? Hell yeah, I did. Get out of here. So, you know, BioShock Infinite, N++, if you haven't played that, it's basically a Flash game, but it's a really well optimized, like the level design is fantastic, like the game feels great to play. Who the hell is this guy?
Hello there, fellow traveler.
Oh, he's
One
okay.
itinerant minstrel and wandering
Anyway, you know, you have games like that. I like Tales of Zestiria a lot. Again, like that's, I don't have much investment in the Tales franchise, so it's probably the same as every other Tales game ever. But, you know, I played Exilia, I played a bit of Symphonia, and I like Zestiria the best. I like the battle system, and the characters are only cringy for most of it, not all of it. Stuff like that, you know, like if we look at the games I have here, Rocket League, fantastic game. Fez, 2012, I think, it came out on console in 2014, but I believe it came out in 2012. Super interesting game. A game where you can only move on 2D planes, but the game is actually 3D. Genius. Titan Souls, really cool. Rock Band 4, why did I buy this? But Titan Souls, really neat game. Sun and Moon, interesting little platform with a cool mechanic. Hyper Light Drifter, really cool adventure game. Pretty difficult, really good throwback to the old SNES style of RPG. So, and that's just right there on my dashboard. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's fair to say that, you know, there haven't been any good games. You know, and then, you know, I followed the comment thread for a while, and then later this guy just was like, oh, well, I just like being an asshole. And it's like, okay, well, then you're 12 years old, and you need to figure out a better identity for yourself than just being an asshole. But, yeah, that's sort of how I feel about that topic. I think that gaming, industrialization of gaming has to happen, and yes, it will decrease Is this a fox or a wolf? He can't figure it out. He's like, am I going to kill this guy or am I running? Okay, we figured it out now. So industrialization will necessarily end up with, you'll end up with more homogeny within games. Homogeny? Homogeneousness? You'll end up with more samey qualities within games, right? That's sort of just the nature of it. It happens. And while that is irksome on a lot of days because a lot of AAA titles become this very safe, you know, very safe. They don't do anything new. It's inoffensive. All that stuff. There's a lot of that, but you can still find great games. Like, you can still find games that are very integral to me as a gamer, and I have a lot of great memories with them, and I'm going to definitely be nostalgic after they've worn out their welcome and have become completely irrelevant. Similar to how people are with pretty much every SNES and N64 game ever made ever. And just stuff like GoldenEye, where it's like, this game is ugly, it doesn't work, the frame rate's terrible, and people are like, no, it's still good, it holds up. And you're like, no, it doesn't. It's a bad game by today's standards. Like, you know. Anyway, that's sort of how I feel about that. So I'm going to cut this episode here, right before we get into Irkngthand, because this is the last... Is it the last quest of the Thieves Guild? No, it's not. But it is the last quest of this line of the Thieves Guild, this arc line. So let's get up to the top of Irkngthand, and then we'll cut the episode. But I just want to say thanks so much for watching. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. As always, you know, feedback and hold up. Okay, feedback always encouraged. You know, I don't have a problem with it. As long as it's constructive, you know. You know, topics to talk about. If anybody wants to suggest those, I'm totally down. I might not always be able to talk with, you know, with any authority over them, but I can definitely, you know, give it a whirl if you want to hear my opinion on anything or anything like that. But yeah, I'm super enjoying this. So thanks to everybody who's watched so far and who's continuing to watch. Yeah. Let's get down to Irkngthand here, and then we'll call it. Well, okay. See, the thing about this is, I'm a little high up. I'm a little high. You ever been so high? Oh God, I'm gonna die, dude. Oh God, I'm so dead. I'm so dead. Oh God, please no. Okay, I can't afford to like twitch because I'm just gonna fall. Okay. Oh, my sneak increased. There's bad guys around, I think. Nope. We'll get into Irkngthand and then we'll call the episode. Oh no. Oh God. Oh no. Oh no. I'm so done, dude. Crocodile done, dude. Am I right? Alright, we're fine. I'm terrified right now. Can I climb along this? No. That is a resounding no. Okay. How do I get down from here? Am I just screwed now? Alright. I'm gonna scope this guy in the face in 5 seconds, and we'll be right back.